The 1970s were a golden age for Saturday morning cartoons. But beyond the familiar faces and catchy tunes, there were shows that were so offbeat, so ahead of their time, that they barely made a mark. So, why have these shows faded into obscurity? And why should we care? Today, we're getting into 15 forgotten 70s cartoons that shaped the animation world in ways we didn't realize back then. If you're a fan of the strange, the overlooked, and the truly unique, hit that like button and subscribe. There's a lot more where that came from. Now let's take a trip back to the 70s and find the craziest entertainment of all time. Number 15, The Funky Phantom, 1971. Okay, so The Funky Phantom was a total wild card in the mystery genre, but somehow it didn't get the love it totally deserved. Think Scooby-Doo, but with a ghost, and not just any ghost. This one was from the Revolutionary War. Meet Mudsie Muddlemore. He's a sneezing, bumbling spirit who's accidentally freed from a creepy old grandfather clock by a bunch of teens. Oh, and did I mention he has a ghost cat named Boo? Yeah, it's that kind of show. Together, they team up to solve mysteries, but it's a little different from what you might expect. There's supernatural chaos and goofy slapstick humor, with Mudsie's constant fear and sneezing making it all feel extra hilarious. It didn't blow up like Scooby-Doo, but the weird mix of history and wackiness made it a cult classic. It only lasted one season, but for those who caught it, The Funky Phantom will forever have a special place. Number 14, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids, 1973. Alright, so Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids, it's one of those shows that's like, what were they thinking? But in the best way possible. Hanna-Barbera really went all in on this one, basically mixing the Partridge Family with Mission Impossible, but with a rock band thrown in the mix. The story's wild, a group of musicians who are secretly crime-fighting superheroes working for a supercomputer named Mr. Socrates. Yeah, you heard that right, Mr. Socrates. The crew, led by Butch Cassidy and his gang, went around taking down jewel thieves and evil masterminds like it was nothing. They even had their dog, Elvis, tagging along for the ride. Sure, it didn't hit the same vibe as Josie and the Pussycats, it didn't exactly have the same fan base, but it was a totally unique mix of rock and crime fighting. Number 13, Goober and the Ghost Chasers, 1973. Goober and the Ghost Chasers was like Scooby-Doo, but with a major twist. Think of a talking dog who goes invisible when he's scared. Yep, that's Goober for you. The show followed Goober and his crew of teen detectives as they tried to solve spooky mysteries, but Goober's invisibility trick didn't exactly help things. Every time there was danger, he'd disappear, leaving his human friends to pick up the slack. So, yeah, Goober's power kind of made him more of a liability than a hero. While the show had all the classic supernatural vibes we love, Goober's chaotic invisibility just added a layer of, well, chaos. Even though it had that Scooby-Doo formula going for it, it didn't exactly land with viewers and was canceled after just one season. Next up at number 12 is The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, a show that was basically a family-sized mystery-solving squad, but with a musical twist. Think Charlie Chan meets Scooby-Doo, but with a whole crew of 12 kids solving crimes while rocking out. It was a pretty big deal for its time because it was one of the first cartoons to have Asian American voice actors for the Chan children, which was super rare back then. But yeah, while the show had some major cool points, it wasn't without its quirks. With such a huge cast, it was hard to really connect with any one character, and the mix of detective work and random musical numbers sometimes felt a bit much. Still, The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan deserves props for trying something different, blending family vibes, mysteries, and inclusivity. It only lasted 16 episodes, but it definitely made its mark for being bold and unique. Number 11, Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch, 1974. Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch was Hanna-Barbera doing what they did best in the 70s, taking a goofy idea and running with it. The twist this time? All the characters were motorcycles. The star of the show was Wheelie, a bright red bike who didn't even speak in words, just honks and beeps. His rivals were a gang called the Chopper Bunch, led by the gruff Chopper, who spent every episode trying and failing to mess with Wheelie. On paper, it was colorful and fast-paced, a mix of slapstick gags, endless chases, and over-the-top cartoon chaos. But in practice, the gimmick wore thin pretty quickly. Without real dialogue from Wheelie, the show leaned on puns, pratfalls, and running jokes that got old fast. Every episode felt like the same setup. Chopper schemes, Wheelie escapes, cue the laugh track. It only lasted one season with 13 episodes, and most viewers forgot about it as soon as it ended. Still, for kids who caught it, the sight of motorcycles talking, scheming, and acting like humans was unforgettable in the weirdest way. Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch didn't have the staying power of Scooby-Doo or the Flintstones, but it definitely left its mark as one of the strangest attempts at a Saturday morning hit. Number 10, next up, we've got the Roman holidays, basically the Flintstones, but in ancient Rome. The show followed the Holiday family as they tried to juggle everyday life in the Roman Empire. From dealing with grumpy landlords to the mess of having a pet lion named Brutus, this show brought a whole new twist to the family sitcom. Think of dealing with your annoying neighbors, but in togas and sandals, and instead of a pet dinosaur, you've got a wild lion. It was a goofy, fun experiment that tried mixing historical vibes with that classic sitcom energy we know and love. Sure, it was pretty formulaic, but it worked. Sadly, it only lasted one season, but it's still remembered as that quirky spin on the Flintstones, a reminder that you can throw a family sitcom anywhere, even ancient Rome, and still get laughs. Number 9. Let's talk about Dastardly and Muttley and their flying machines for a sec. If you've ever caught wacky races, then you already know Dick Dastardly and